I'll start with XRP and I'll start with this chart. If you remember the 4-day chart I was showing you about the bullish divergences and the tendency when a 4-day bullish divergence appears that it sets up a drop before it does a lift. And if you look at it here, here's the trigger points, and then after that we get a green candle here. You can see we get you get the green candle, and then you get a red, and then it starts to move down, yeah. And equally here, you get the green, and then you get the red, and then the same on this one here. Even though the trigger point is a little further, it's on this red candle here. It's still, you can see the green one, then the lift, and then the drop, yeah. So I was thinking that it wasn't going to break above this level here at 40.34, and it did. It ended up going up to 41.73. So on our chart here, it ended up following the consolidation. The consolidation range where it breaks above at this point, and it matches in with the previous. Here you go. You got the breakthrough of the resistance level, and again the breakthrough of the resistance level. And on both of these consolidations, this one came back to the support line. This one broke through the support line and didn't do a lower low, but came very close. So potentially we're looking at a trip back down to at least the support line here at 32.91, say 33. But we are due a lower low. So with this here, it looks like it's leaving things till the last moment. So last night, the last hour pushed price action down enough to turn the VWAP on the daily and the weekly, which I'll show you in a moment, yeah. So now it did a drop. It's retracing at the moment, so I reckon there's another drop in this before the end of the day. This 4-hour candle, or 4-day candle, is going to finish today, a new one tomorrow. So I reckon there's probably at least one more drop, good drop in this before it finishes. And again, that would fit in with giving us a nice bit of a drop here. This one, bit of a drop, retrace. Next one, down it goes. I am expecting when this drops next time, that there will be a decent bit of a retrace before it goes down, yeah. And then well, see this one here. That did the rise up like. It's interesting. This is the bottom of the last bear market, and it did the same thing. Here's the green candle, and then the red one. Look, it went up like the present one did, and then we get a drop, and then look, it's gonna when this drops, the second drop today, I think we're going to get something like this, simply because the earlier hours, the 1, 2, 3, 4 hour, are going to need to take a little bit of a reset, and then potentially setting ourselves up for that, yeah. So now I'm still watching for, if you put the measure here, potentially a 57% drop. That's what I reckon is going to happen, yeah. Equally, this one here was a 57% drop, and again the 57% drop here from here is down at 80 cent or so, and then that would also fit in with, where's this chart here, yeah. It would also fit in with these bottoms here of the dump before the pump, 68%, 67%, and this one here potentially down to 80 cent or so at 68%, yeah. 67% could be 19 cent or so, yeah. And again, look at the triangle here coming down and touching off this. You can see the way this level starts here. Can't say so much in this one because it's the start of the XRP. It's its first bull run. And then equally, if you look at this line here, this line's already set, confirmed. You can see it run along here, confirmed here, confirmed, confirmed, and it's a good chance it's going to come down onto it, possibly even break it a little bit. Yeah. If it doesn't break it, it will be still coming down around the 20 mark, 20 cent mark, 21 mark. Yeah. So yeah, so that's what I'm watching out for. Is I had done out the Wyckoff accumulation. I did this out, yeah. Just let me take this. Sorry for 1 second. I just want to copy this, yeah. I'm not going to spend too long on this. I did a video on this the other day, yeah. But essentially, the accumulation here, I did out the previous from the peak of 2018. You can see the whole accumulation pattern playing out here to the peak of 2021, and we are going through the same process at the moment, yeah. So you can see that we are heading for this drop here, I believe. So now I mapped this out. It was hard to read, so what I did was, you can see this range here, yeah. I mapped this out, and then I mapped this out. And essentially you can see they're very similar. The only difference for the main part is that on this pattern here, the drop was less, so the sideways was here. It gave space for a lower low, a final lift, and a final low. So this is a micro. If you look at this range here, there's a smaller Wyckoff accumulation playing out here. So you can see here. You can see this whole pattern here. This is a bigger Wyckoff accumulation, and then within this is a smaller Wyckoff accumulation playing out. And I believe we have the same thing here. We have a bigger Wyckoff accumulation playing out, and within that is we have a smaller Wyckoff accumulation playing out in this range here, yeah. So same. But what happened on this one is, look at the drop. Didn't drop as far. This one was a bigger drop. You got the consolidation. This could drop down for its second drop here, where this one hasn't. This one bottomed out. It hasn't done a lower low yet. And you can see the accumulations is there's meant to be 3. There doesn't always have to be, but that's the general pattern, yeah. We've only had 1 so far here. Where this one, you got the 1, you got the lower low, and then you got the final lower low, and then look, the accumulation back up, yeah. Where here, in this micro one here, it's not micro because it's gone over a long time, but compared to this one, it's a smaller one, yeah, is we've only had 1 lower low. So even if we didn't get this second one here, you would think that potentially we're going to get a second one here, yeah. And then this would be the bottom. This literally will be the blow off bottom, and then we have the accumulation back up, yeah. And on the bigger time frame is really this should have been a lower low as well. On this bigger Wyckoff accumulation, that final drop here should have created a lower low. It didn't, but as the accumulation, it would suggest it should have, yeah. But again, same but different. So this is why when we look at this bigger pattern here, potentially we're looking for an even lower low here, yeah. But we'll have to see when we get there. But at the moment, this low is due. We're due. The smaller one is due a lower low, but equally the bigger one here is also due a lower low. So both are saying there's a low due. So I would expect some lower low. So let's have a look at what that is, yeah. Potentially. So There's the one. Okay, there's I just further away. So now within the range here is we've got the spill going on here. So what range I'm watching for is first there's this lift here, yeah. So I want to see it get below the 786 here at 36. So I want to see it break 36, just so I know that on this lift it's breaking below that, yeah. Then it ranges down to the support line at 33. I want to see it hit 33. Is potentially, depending on how this spill goes, is we could get a touch here and a lift back up before it drops back down, yeah. As the pattern goes, we are due a lower low below 31 here. So now what I want to see is 31 get broken. So we could just get a scrawny break below 31.15, 30 to 30, somewhere between 30 and 31, and giving us a lower low at this. But on the bigger, that would be giving us a lower low on this range. So in this range we're due it, yeah. But equally, remember the bigger Wyckoff accumulation is 28.65 or so is the low of this market, and on the bigger Wyckoff accumulation we are due a lower low. So if it's going to break below this, potentially we're looking at a range of between 25 and 26.5 or so, I think at a minimum. But if this pattern here plays out like the previous two, we should be getting a 68% drop, hitting around the 18 to 20 cent mark, yeah. If it doesn't, if it comes down and does a 25 cent or so and we head back up, I think on this lower low here we're probably going to start hitting the 18 to 20% range. So possibly that could be possibly it as well, and we get a second lower low later on in the accumulation cycle, yeah. So, but the previous two is this was it. Yeah, the previous two we got this. So we'll see what's going to happen, yeah. So for now, when I zoom in on a closer range, let's have a look at the MAs and what's happened, yeah. So I'm going to look at the daily. So on the daily, is we got a bounce up to the 50 SMA and the 55, got a rejection, bounce back to the 20 MA, the white one, broke through it last night, and the 5 MA on the daily has turned sideways, yeah. So that's a pretty strong move. Equally, the VWAP is down. So on the daily, you've got the VWAP pushing down and the 5 turning. So that's a significant move. Is equally the weekly turned last night, and the VWAP is turned down. So that was great, because when it initially turned, the VWAP is up, but price action pushed it down. So the VWAP is down and the 5 is down, cutting through the 20, and then the 10 took a nice strong turn down there as well. So that's indicating at the moment that it's looking to keep going, yeah. Now all the dailies except for the 4-day turned on Saturday night, Sunday morning. So the 4-day is turning tomorrow. So the 4-day, let's have a look at what's going to happen potentially with the 4-day. So the 4-day is, you can see it's turned red. It took its time to turn red, but it did. You can see that it got rejected off the top here. The 10 MA on the 4-day stopped it in its tracks. There's the 20 EMA as well. And And at the moment, as things stand, is you can see that the 5 has broken through the 50 on the 4-day. That is a big move. The 5 breaking through the 50 is, if price action can stay where it is or go below, is the VWAP on the 4-day is going to turn tomorrow. So the VWAP on the 4-day is going to turn tomorrow, is potentially price actions below the 5. So the 5 continues down, the VWAP turns. Anytime you see the 5 and the 50 moving together, that's always a big move on any timeline. Let's say you get the 5 turning and the 10 turning. Okay, it's a nice move down. If the 20 is moving with it, it's an even stronger move. But when you get the 50 and the 5 working at the same time, when the 50 drops, when the 5 drops, generally that's a pretty significant move, because what happens after that is that, look, the 10 and the 20s come down and follow through, but the 50 is being part of the trigger. So it's always a bigger move, yeah, potentially. So what we want to see on the turn of the day is the VWAP turn down. Price action is already lower than the 5. The 5 continues, and then the 10 gets to drop here. The 20, the white 20 EMA gets to drop, and again, it's setting up a fantastic spill. So that's potentially on the cards, and we'll get our lower lows. So we're breaking. See here, we're breaking 34.50. We're breaking 31.15, and potentially coming down here and breaking 28.65. And then we'll have our spill. Yeah. So we'll see. If I put the fibs on this, just to show you from this. See, I'm wondering, do I go from here or do I go from here? Yeah. But if I do this for now, put the fibs here. Okay, you can see that you see the drop down to here and the back test to the 0.5. So you can see it back tested to the 0.5, got a clear rejection from it, and it's coming down, yeah. So now, if it had broken the 0.5 and it got up further, I'd be thinking that, okay, this is a 1-2 for heading up. But it's a strong rejection at the 0.5, potentially for another push down. So you follow the fibs down in the opposite direction, and the general target will be the 1618, and this is at 21.83. If it goes to the 1786, is 1979, yeah, cent. So somewhere in this range, yeah, will be the general target. If I wanted to do a 1414, where then we're looking at 2460 or so. 1272 is a 2673. But essentially, that's how you would put the fibs on it. So you got the drop, you got the 0.5, and then we're breaking through. So when we start to see it break this here, this here. When we start to see it break 31.12, here's the lift, here's the correction, here's the 0.5, and then here's the push down. So we're getting a stronger push down. And essentially a 1, a 2, and then a 3, yeah. So if we did it this way, and I just put, took a line like this, just out of curiosity, and we put it here at the top here, and we follow it down, this is suggesting a 23 cent, yeah. If I went to a bit more of an extreme, that's offering a 17 cent. Okay, but you can see where I'm thinking, yeah. So that's me. So the stages, the stages. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more actually on the MAs, yeah. One of the things I'll point out here is on the EMAs, on the hourly, the 1 hour, just with regards to the spill that's happened now, is you can see that the 20 crossing over the 55 on the 1 hour, and again you can see this spill is I see there's two possibles here. Is one, price action does another drop, and then it comes up and it tests the 55 on the 1 hour, or possibly it might come up and test the 55 now. So what can happen is you get the spill, a back test, or potentially a back test. If you give it a few hours, the 55 could be around here. So we could be getting a higher back test here, or there's a pressure coming down that it'll go for another spill, and at some point we will be coming back to back test the 55 on the hour. Yeah. So we just got to see how it's gonna play out. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm watching for. If I zoom in now and let's have a look at the MAs, just look through a couple of the hours, yeah. So there's the 1 hour spill, and you can see it, price action broke below the 200 on the 1 hour. The 5 and the 10 are after breaking below the 200 on the 1 hour, and the 1 hour has been resistance here. So it does look like it's setting itself up for a spill, yeah. At the moment, the 5 on the 2 hour is holding it, but again, you can see that the 10, the 20s are starting to spill. So, and also look, this is the 50 on the 2 hour, and look, there's the MAs breaking through the 50. So it's a big spill, yeah. You can see the 200 on the 2 hours holding it at the moment. So it was quite a decent drop. So you can see when you go through the later hours, but there's the 3 hour getting down, the 5. Here's the 10 and the 20s following. Now there we go. Look, the 4 hour is getting down. So if this one doesn't go, is we might need the 5 and the 4 hour to get down that bit further before it's going to go. And look, you can see the 50 on the 4 hour is also holding it as resistance, yeah, with the VWAP. So it seems like it has a lot of resistance support. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all the. I'll go to the 12 hour. Because the 12 hour is due to turn in another hour or so, yeah. So now the 12 hour is looking fantastic for a spill. Look at the 5. So now the 10 is going to come around proper on this one. Breaking through the 20s here. So that looks like it's set for continuation, yeah. Okay, so now. If I have a quick look through the stock. Okay, so now this is why I'm saying to you about 5 minute, 15, half hour. So 5 and 15 look like they need to, well, the 15 needs to come back to the top. Half hour is at the top. The hour here, top right, is looking like it could turn and get another push down. Same with the 2 hour bottom left, the 3 hour, the 4 hour. They all look like they have another push in them. And then they might need a breather, yeah. So when I flick into the 6 hour, the support that's going to keep it down is, look, the 6 hour is pushing, the 8 hour is pushing, the 9 hour. So you can see all these guys are going to keep the pressure on, yeah. And then the 12 hour is only starting in. So this is why there could be again another push down for later on today. And then the earlier hours will need a bit of a reset, while the later hours are keeping the pressure on. Is the earlier hours will have a reset. And then here's the daily, is bottom right here. The daily finally turned. Remember that this fecker was coming up, is properly taking a turn down. It hasn't come back in from the oversold yet, or overbought, but it has turned. It has turned proper. So it's looking good. It's looking good at the moment, yeah. So now these are the dailies. So here's the daily, here's the 2 day, and again the 2 days coming up. Look, that again could turn for another drop. Same with the 3 day. Here's the 4 day. Can take a. Let's see what's going to happen. That can again push down a little bit more. There's the 5 day, 6 day, and then the weekly. So you can see that potentially these guys are going to keep pushing until the weekly gets back to the bottom, yeah. Even the 2 week here has taken a turn down. So a lot of pressure coming in for a push. Just looking at the divergences, nothing there. Okay, so that's that's me for now, yeah. So let's have a look here and go into the 1 hour. And then I'll just mark out some key areas I want to see getting broken. 36 getting broken, so that it's the lift up here. The 786 is around 36. Want to see 36 getting broken. Want to see 3460 getting broken. 33, 3290. Just these are all the steps down. Yeah, 31, 3120, and then equally, I actually have it here. 2856, I think it is, yeah, somewhere around there. So these are all the levels that I'm watching for, yeah. The 4 day is going to turn tomorrow, so I'm expecting another spill. I don't know how far it's going to go, and then what I'll be really watching out for is on the 4 day is what happens with regards to VWAP, the 5 MA on the 4 day, and again I'll be looking at the 10 and the 20 here, yeah. Is what happens if all these guys are down, then it's looking good for a continuation down, yeah. So that's what I'm watching for, and then equally the day is going to turn tomorrow as well. So just with the day is I'll be looking for see tomorrow if the 5 takes continues down, takes a nice sharp turn down here. The VWAP continues down, even if the 10 might take a turn down. That is looking fantastic for a stronger push down, yeah. And equally, this is the 200 MA on the daily. See if the 5 takes a turn down and breaks the 200. Again, there's the 20 breaking the 200. The 10's already done it. If the 5 breaks through the 200 again and the 20 takes a turn down, again, a strong indication for another push down. So that's the stuff I'm watching out for, yeah. Okay, so that's me for now.